Hello, everybody, and welcome to Secular Ultra Quran, your one-stop shop for everything secular, ultra, and Quran. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today we are covering Surah 3, verses 33 through 57. Bam.
Yeah, we did it.
We did.
And this is our special Halloween episode.
Which, obviously, we are very, very much dressed up for.
You guys not grab that one jack-o'-lantern or whatever for the set? No, forget that, I guess.
The what?
Jack-o'-lantern. I had a jack-o'-lantern.
That's right. We did have one
right
of those.
there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
grab
with the hat on.
Grab it, Lawrence.
Why? No,
Fine, I'll do it.
I have a costume that I got to show.
Yeah.
So I have, as you can see, right on my arms right here. This is wrist tape, which, by the way, if you have not used athletic tape before, this shit's really annoying. It will rip off all your hair. So it was thank you, Christopoulos. We still call him that, right?
Did we ever?
No one ever called me that.
So I'm Matt Hardy today. And you can't quite tell, but I'm wearing the same pants. You can't quite tell. You can't tell at all. I'm wearing the Matt Hardy pants, and they're pretty big. They're not exactly comfortable, but you know what? It really brings it all together.
And I'm a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, he's a Pokemon trainer.
I have a Pokedex, and here are some Pokemon.
Brilliant.
And this is our Halloween episode. Everybody, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Everybody.
Yeah, you know what I really
scary.
should have done? I should have brought Halloween candy, but I did not.
Oh.
Because you know what? This was enough. All right. And also, it's always awkward to put this stuff on. I remember so on Saturday, I went as Matt Hardy, and a friend went as Lita. So, I mean, only one person really knew who the fuck we even were, even after we explained things. Because apparently, there's so many people who have no idea who they are. Crazy.
Not really.
Very unfortunate, considering they were part of the defining of the, not just the Attitude Era, but also the Ruthless Aggression Era.
So incredibly Halloween themed.
Anyways,
I have the Study Quran from Syed Hossein Nasir and others, the Quran from the Quran Project, and the Penguin Classics Quran. We also have a thematic commentary on the Quran.
We have the Quran from Abdullah Yusuf Ali, the translation from Maulana Muhammad Ali, and from Gabriel Said Reynolds, the Quran and the Bible.
And why don't we start by talking about what we're going to see in this episode?
Oh, yes. So today we're talking all about Jesus and Mary. So some of this stuff will sound familiar because we read a lot of it in the Infancy Gospel of James. So we're going to talk about, obviously, how I'm not exactly sure how they portray it, but I think that the father's name is different. The father of Mary has a different name. Right, because I'm pretty sure this is where, so the book is called Imran, right? So Imran is supposed to be the guy who's the father of this household. He's supposed to be the grandfather of Jesus, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I could be just wrong about that entirely. He could be completely, related in an entirely different way, but we are going to see a lot of the same characters. I don't think we see Joaquin in here, right? Wasn't that his name? Joaquin? Yeah, that was Mary's father's name. I'm pretty sure. Because it was Joaquin and Anne. Remember? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's they're saints, yes. Right? They've been canonized. So Joaquin and Anne gave birth to Mary. Mary gave birth to Jesus. So I think that is, I'm not sure if they keep up that same genetic line in the Quran, though. Or maybe they just changed some names.
Yes, I'm just double checking. It's
What I really should have done is brought a copy of the Infancy Gospel of James. That's what I really should have done.
yes, you should have. Where is it?
I think I brought it back to my place.
Interesting.
Actually, is it in the Nag Hammadi one?
Is it?
I'm not sure if it is.
Why don't you
I don't remember.
check and see if the Infancy
I can
Gospel
do
of
that.
James is there?
I mean, there's plenty of other Gospels, right?
Nope.
And no, there are no other
Surprisingly,
Gospels?
There are very few other Gospels.
No, I think this is the one that didn't have any Infancy Gospels. So we could just be shit out of luck there because we had a bunch of other ones, right? I remember there was the Gospel of Mary in here. The Gospel of Judas was in here.
So what you're telling me is there aren't enough Gospels. I was correct.
Maybe not in this one,
Oh,
but there are in total enough Gospels.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, not in here, unfortunately. There's a whole bunch of other ones. Yeah, no, there's the secret book of James, not the Infancy Gospel of James, so unfortunate. Either way, I'll so
Well, there are various genealogies presented for Jesus.
yeah,
in
yeah.
Canonical Gospels.
Hopefully, well, that one's even weirder, right? Because that one has different birth stories altogether.
That's
Yes.
weird.
Yeah, isn't it? I wonder why. How about we hop into the reading, unless you have like some opening notes on these sections.
I do not have any opening notes on these sections, so why don't I?
Oh, there is a little bit here. So the name Imran seems to correspond with the biblical Amram, the father of. Oh, well, they have here the father of Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. However, he appears as the father of Mary. There we go. Yeah, he was the father of Mary, the mother of Jesus. The Quran thus conflates the two Marys, as it does when it describes Mary as the sister of Aaron. Oh, you know what? This explains a lot. So whenever I talk to Muslims, they talk about, they seem to get their genealogies confused a lot. I feel, okay, that would make sense as to why.
Yeah, so
if they often
the name
do,
Mary is Maryam,
right, yeah.
and that's also Miriam's
Right.
name.
Yeah. So I feel like when I talk to them about the genealogies, like they're unaware that there are two.
Mhm.
So I always feel lost. I'm like, wait, hold on. Are we talking about this guy or that guy? Like, because when they're talking about Joseph, for example, I'm like, wait, are you talking about Joseph in the Old Testament, or are you talking about Joseph, the father of Jesus?
Right.
Like, I'm like, who the hell are you talking about? They're just like, oh, Joseph. And I'm like, that doesn't help me, please. Like, because they haven't read the Bible, right?
No.
Well, I mean, some Muslims have, yeah.
And
But
you
the
have
ones I
this
was talking to about.
outright confusion
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Mary.
Okay.
So let's hop into it. Verse 33. Truly, God chose Adam, Noah, the house of Abraham, and the house of Imran above the worlds as progeny, one from another. And God is hearing, knowing. Okay, so the worlds thing, we've run into that before. That's just like everything that exists.
Yeah.
And here it's like a genealogy. Right?
Yeah, essentially.
Adam, Noah, Abraham.
Like
Imran.
all the way down, this family is going to be the most important family.
Remember when the wife of Imran said, "My Lord, truly I dedicate to thee what is in my belly in consecration. So accept it from me. Truly thou art the hearing, the knowing." Okay, so this is interesting because the previous verse ended with God is the hearing, knowing. And here is truly thou art the hearing, knowing. And it seems then that
Well, they're
the
still talking
wife of-
to God, right? Or sorry, no.
Is she talking
When the
to
wife
God?
of Imran said, well, yeah, because she's, okay, this is supposed to be Anne, right? This is supposed to be Anne.
Mhm.
And she's speaking to God, talking about Jesus inside of her. And she's like, I am dedicating this to you. except for me, and then it seems that she's talking to God.
Remember when renders the Arabic particle id, which indicates attachment to something that has been preceded. In this instance, it is said to be related, as is often the case, to the implied injunction udkur, meaning remember or mention. It is reported that Mary's father, Imran, died before she was born, and her mother, Hannah, or Anne, promised to dedicate her child to the service of the temple, to study and learn from the book, and to be free of other responsibilities.
Wait, did he die before she was born?
Did he? I
don't remember that. But it could have just been like a throwaway line.
You know,
right?
what I do recall is that he did not die before she was born in some of the extra biblical literature, that he took care of her in part until she went to live in the temple, right? In the Gospel of Mary, for example.
Right, yeah. That too.
So
there's a couple things here. So first, I'm gonna actually read it from Reynolds here, because he seems to have the best commentary on it. So the Quran follows closely here the Proto-Evangelion, or the Infancy Gospel of James, Greek Christian work written in the late 2nd century, translated into Syriac in the 5th. In the work, Mary's mother Anna is barren, but when but when she laments, God sends an angel from heaven to announce that she will bear a child. So this be Anna. About talking about, sorry. The wife of Imran would be Anna talking about Mary. So this is her saying, this is her about to, give Mary to consecration over to God.
Yeah.
When she laments, God sends an angel from heaven to announce that she will bear a child. In thanksgiving, Anna proclaims that she will consecrate the child to the service of God in the Jerusalem temple. The scene recapitulates that of Hannah in 1 Samuel, with an important exception, whereas the Old Testament Hannah asks God for a son, quote, as males belong to the Lord, Exodus 13:12. Anna, like the wife of Imran in the Quran, declares to God her readiness to accept a son or a daughter. And this is the quotation. And behold, an angel of the Lord came to her and said, Anna, the Lord has heard your prayer. You shall conceive and bear, and your offspring shall be spoken of in the whole world. And Anna said, as the Lord my God lives, if I bear a child, whether male or female, I will bring it as a gift to the Lord my God, and it shall serve him all the days of his life. The manner in which the Quran has Mary's mother commend Mary and her descendants, Jesus, to God's protection from the devil may allude to the Christian doctrine that Mary and Jesus were free from sin. This would be, we talked about it for the Infancy Gospel of James, but the idea is that because Jesus was born of Mary and because Jesus was sinless, therefore Mary, at least her flesh, had to be sinless. So they wrote a story as to how she could stay sinless that whole time. Well, it's because basically she was stored away at the temple, away from everything, like fucking Buddha. Yeah, like completely held away from all evil things that could corrupt her.
But also nonsensical within the tradition that they're referencing, because if you pay attention to Ezekiel, then it's very clear that children don't inherit the sins of their parents.
But then there are other parts that you read, and you do inherit the sins, at least for a few generations.
Well, no, I don't think that's an inheritance of sin. I think that's a punishment that's meted out.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah, sure.
And it's just part of the terms that it
goes down at least 7 generations.
Death and excruciating pain for multiple generations.
Yeah. Which is basically like inheriting sin.
Basically.
Maybe not theologically the same, but basically the same.
There's an ontological distinction.
Yes.
And when she bore her, she said, "My Lord, I have borne a female." And God knows best.
And the whole world wept.
Ah.
Get it?
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't get that, that's a reference to another book we read.
Yeah.
That was the wisdom of
Ben Sira?
Ben Sira, yeah.
Yeah, the wisdom
That
of Ben
sounds like it.
Sira.
Yeah.
Very misogynistic.
Super
Probably the
sexist.
most. Probably the most.
Crazy.
And God knows best what she bore, and the male is not like the female. And I have named her Mary, and I seek refuge for her in the end for her progeny from Satan the outcast. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
The male is not like the female, meaning that it would not have been possible for a girl to have carried out the same responsibilities as a boy in the temple. Commentators mention here differences in physical strength and endurance, but issues of ritual purity related to menstruation may also have been a barrier to service in the temple. By progeny, commentators understand an allusion to Jesus. Some mention that this could be interpreted as connoting the as connoting the superiority of the female, and that though she was expecting a male, God chose to give her a female child who would bear and manifest the knowledge of God.
So, let's see.
One way of understanding the male is not like the female is that it establishes that there are real, meaningful differences between the sexes. At the same time, however, God accepted her with a beautiful acceptance, suggesting that those differences are irrelevant from the spiritual point of view.
There's also something kind of neat here about this last line, thy protection from the accursed, into thy protection from the accursed devil. So this apparently says here, here's just what the note says. Rajim is derived from the root rajam, meaning the throwing or casting of stones, and also reviling, cursing, driving away, expelling, cutting off from friendly intercourse. It therefore signifies a curse or driven away from the divine presence. This is what is implied here, and this is apparent from 38:78, where Satan is thus accosted, and surely my curse is on thee to the day of judgment. The other significance of rajim, i.e. one pelted with stones, is not applicable here. It is noteworthy that Mary's mother, while praying for Mary, prays also for her offspring, which shows that when she dedicated her daughter to the temple, she had never an idea that she would remain a virgin all her life. Well, duh. On the other hand, she entertained the hope that Mary would become a wife and mother. Okay, yeah. That was kind of the hope.
Yep. So.
Oh, also, no, I do not speak Arabic. I tried learning Arabic. It's very difficult. But the pronunciation, it's only because I am, I'm around a lot of Arabs a lot of the time. I work at a hookah bar where the primary clientele are Arab. So yeah, it's you just kind of pick it up, I guess.
So, the Lord accepted her with a beautiful acceptance and made her to grow in a beautiful way and placed her under the care of Zechariah. Whenever Zechariah entered upon her in the sanctuary, he found in provision with her, he said, Mary, whence comes this unto thee? She said, it is from God. Truly, God provides for whomsoever he will without reckoning.
Yeah, the Quran follows here tradition also found in the infancy gospel of James, in which Mary is brought to the Jerusalem temple. Yeah, under the guardianship of Zechariah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they do quote a substantial amount of it here, but because we read it, and by the way, because we read it, all of our viewers can go listen to the infancy gospel of James.
Yes, you can after this.
Yeah, after this, later, not right now. Right now, you stay here where you belong.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, this is where you live. Okay. Then and there, Zechariah called upon his Lord. He said, My Lord, grant me from thy presence a good progeny. Truly thou hearest all calls. Then the angels called to him while he was praying in the sanctuary. God gives thee glad tidings of John, confirming a word from God, noble and chaste, a prophet from among the righteous.
Interesting there. So the angels called to him as he stood praying in the sanctuary. Allah gives the good news of John. So is this supposed to be a reference to John the Baptist?
Yeah, John will confirm that Jesus, the son of Mary, is the word from him. To confirm means to affirm the truth of something.
Yeah, this is in Luke 1. Yeah, so it should definitely be John the Baptist.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is okay, so this would make a lot of sense. Yeah, the good news of John verifying a word from Allah. And okay, so yeah. So one of the things that they point out is that well, not that anyone points it out, but this is I'm guessing one of the things about, like, you know, someone greater than I will come. That's something that John does say in the Gospels.
Yes.
And he's talking about Jesus in the Gospel context. Although, yeah, like, I think I mentioned this before.
Maybe he's talking about Muhammad.
Yeah, according to my Muslim friends who have not read the Bible, he was talking about it was actually Jesus talking about Muhammad, and I'm like, no, this is actually a different character saying this about Jesus. So I don't know. Maybe read other holy books once in a while.
Yeah, you know what?
At least before you talk about them.
You know what Jesus did say? He said that charlatans would come after him who were like miracle workers,
Oh,
and
yeah.
spiritual
Wow.
leaders, and that you shouldn't believe in them.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, he did.
I can believe that.
Anyways, so they're talking about how he's going to have this kid. He said, "My Lord, how shall I have a boy when age has overtaken me and my wife is barren?" He said, "Thus does God do whatsoever he will." He said, "My Lord, appoint for me a sign." He said, "Your sign is that you shall not speak to the people for 3 days, save through signs. And remember your Lord much, and glorify him at eventide and dawn."
So this verse might be compared with Luke, if you can pull this up. So this is Luke 1:18 through 20. But note that in the Quran, Zechariah's muteness is not a punishment, but a sign granted to him. So we've had, at least in other texts, we've had signs like this before.
Luke 1, and Zechariah said to the angel, "How shall I know this? For I am an old man, and my wife is well advanced in years." And the angel answered and said to him, "I am Gabriel, who stands in the presence of God, and was sent to speak to you and bring to you these glad tidings. But behold."
Behold.
Behold.
Yeah, I mean, I
You
guess
will-
it's a lukewarm behold.
"You will be mute and not able to speak until the day these things take place, because you did not believe my words, which will be fulfilled in their own time."
Let's see. Yeah, the Quran does not say. Okay.
You see,
for the sign.
the Quran confirms.
Yeah, the Quran confirms it. Yeah, of course. So yeah, my Lord, appoint a sign for me. Said he, thy sign is that thou speak not to men for 3 days, except by signs. So the Quran does not say that Zechariah became dumb. I wasn't even thinking that he was. He was only commanded not to talk to men for 3 days. Let's see, what else is there?
Well, is it a command?
Well,
Your
I mean,
sign
kind
is
of.
that you shall not speak to people for 3 days. Save through signs.
So is it like? Yeah, I'm not sure. Is it a sign, or is it like a power of God kind of thing, or is it something else? I'm
It's
not
some
sure.
kind of magic shit.
Okay, well, I am checking some other notes here. And there's really not much on it, which is unfortunate. So like this as a sign thing, because think about signs in a biblical context.
Yes.
So there are signs about, the about like the end times, for example, right? Those are pretty popular. But then there are smaller ones about like how to signify something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, this translation says your sign is that you will not be able to speak.
not be able to.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Let's see what this one says. Yeah, this one just says, your sign is that you will not speak for 3 days to people for 3 days, except in gestures is how Saeed Reynolds
Okay.
translates it.
The idea is that he would have to use some kind of sign language.
Or he wouldn't physically speak to them. Actually, hold on. Is that a reference to, maybe not a reference, but kind of like do you think it's connected to with the tradition about the silence? There was someone that was silent.
The silence of silence.
No, not that
Oh,
fucking
God.
okay. There was it another text where there was a person who didn't speak for a while? Was it Ezekiel who didn't speak for a while? Wait, hold on. Yes, the prophets. Some of the early prophets, they had
Hosea?
maybe Isaiah, but some of the early prophets, maybe more than one, they had a specific thing where like they couldn't speak for like a little bit, unless God like spoke through them. I distinctly remember this. See, this is where, like, remember Jason? Jason would have been so great
Oh,
here.
yeah,
He would have
he
just
would've
been
been
quoting the exact verse I'm thinking of. But yeah, there are traditions about the prophets that they had like a vow of silence essentially for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's supposed to be like another way, or like another kind of link with the biblical corpus.
Well, probably, but it's also in the Bible.
No, I know, but
Okay, let's continue on. And remember when the angel said, O Mary, truly God has chosen thee and purified thee, and has chosen thee above the woman of the worlds. O Mary, be devoutly obedient to thy Lord, prostrate and bow with those who bow. So she's commanded to go along with ritual things.
Yeah.
Right? This is from the tidings of the unseen, which we reveal unto thee. And thou wast not with them when they cast their lots to choose who among them would care for Mary, and thou wast not with them when they were disputing. So the casting lots thing, that's definitely Gospel of Mary.
yeah. So
Because there was like a public lottery for who Mary would go to in the Gospel of Mary, and Joseph like won it, right?
was that the Gospel of Mary, or was that?
I think that was
No, that was the infancy Gospel of James.
Was it? I thought it was the
Maybe.
Gospel of Mary.
Actually, hold on. The Gospel of Mary is actually in here. So while I read this section, you can actually check the Gospel of Mary.
Okay.
So I will read this section. Let's see. Islamic tradition understands verse 344 as something like a flashback to the moment when Zechariah was chosen to be Mary's guardian. The word translated here as lots, Arabic, I'm going to butcher this one probably, aklam, is generally understood as pens. It does have this meaning elsewhere. Tafsir al-Jalalain, also butchered that one, relates that men cast quills into water to choose who would have the custodianship of Mary. Other traditions relate that when the pen of Zechariah went motionless or floated upstream, he was designated Mary's custodian. In fact, the Quran is following the chronology of Mary's life as found in the infancy Gospel of James. The contest is over who will marry Mary, and it involves not pens but rods or reeds. The Arabic aklam comes from Greek kalamos, and it and it is a kalamos, a reed.
Yes,
that-
I am certainly thinking of the infancy gospel of James.
Gotcha. Okay. That soldiers put in the right hands. Oh, okay. So that's the same thing that they put into Jesus' hands. Okay. And then it does do the quotation from the infancy gospel. But yeah, it seems like this entire section is just yoink.
Yeah, it's taken straight from the pseudepigrapha. Very strange.
So like aklam, is that how it's said? Instead of the way I was saying it?
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Anyways, they cast their lots to choose who among them would care for Mary, and thou wast not with them when they were disputing. When the angels said, O Mary, truly God gives thee glad tidings of a word from him whose name is the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, high honored in this world and the hereafter, and one of those brought nigh.
Yeah, the Quran's use of Messiah to refer to Jesus has none of the sense of the Hebrew word Mashiach.
Now hold on. Messiah renders al-Masih, which corresponds closely in meaning to the Hebrew Mashiach, anointed one. The commentators do not mention the later eschatological associations of this word in the Judeo-Christian tradition. Even in Judaism, the word was first used to designate anointed kings or priests, and is used in the Bible as a title for a Persian king, Cyrus, who freed the Jews from captivity in Babylon, the high priest David, the patriarchs, and Israel as a whole.
Yeah, but I think the issue here is that he goes on to say that instead the Quran seems to make this word a proper name of Jesus. Yeah, it is curious that the Quran has the angels who are speaking to Mary refer to Jesus as Jesus, son of Mary. That is interesting. The reference in verse 46 to Jesus speaking to the people in the cradle refers to a tradition found in the Latin Gospel of Pseudo-Matthew.
It's almost like saying him whose name is the Hulkster.
Oh,
Hulk Hogan.
yeah. True, yeah.
All right.
The Hulkster. There's the comment there, but I want to see how because Sight Reynolds is kind of his own thing. So what verse was that? That was verse 45. So I want to see how other commentators take it. So when they say that his name is Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, whose name is the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary. Are they saying that his name is perhaps like an anointed name because they have there with the article? So let's see what they say. They say, here's interesting. 3 names are given for the child. That's their interpretation. Al-Masi, Isa, and Ibn Maryam. So son of Mary, Jesus, and Messiah. The first of these is more a title than a name, being preceded by Al. The literal significance of so they say that the literal significance of Masih, I don't know how this is supposed to be pronounced, of Masih is either one who travels much or one wiped over with some such thing as oil. So that would be anointed. It is the same word as the Arabic Messiah, which is Aramaic Messiah, which is said to mean the anointed. Jesus Christ is said to have been so called because he used to travel much. Interesting. Or because he was anointed with a pure blessed ointment with which the prophets are anointed. It is, however, the first significance. Vis-a-vis that Masih means one who travels much, that finds the foremost acceptance with the commentators as well as the lexicologists, and this lends support to the evidence recently discovered, which shows that Jesus traveled in the East after his unfortunate experience at the hands of the Syrian Jews. I wonder what evidence he's referring to.
I don't know.
It doesn't say anything specific. But he said that in the hands of Syrian Jews and preached. Oh, okay. I feel like this is okay. Listen to this. After his unfortunate experience at the hands of the Assyrian Jews and preached to the lost 10 tribes of the Israelites who had settled in the east in Afghanistan and Kashmir.
What?
So this is not actually okay. So
that's nonsense.
There was nothing that was recently discovered that was like that. I would, and there's no citation here, so it's not like I can even check it. But no, I am currently looking at some these other commentaries to see if they expand on this at all. But it does not seem like they do.
Well, anyways, he will speak to people in the cradle and in maturity and will be among the righteous. So that's what they say about Jesus. He speaks from the cradle. This is also something that happens in various infancy gospels.
Yes. Oh, the name of the commentary. Well, it's a translation of commentary. It's the Holy Quran English translation commentary from Maulana Muhammad Ali. Yeah. So yeah, there's no citation on that claim, so I can't check it. But either way, I'd love to. But yeah, there are a lot of not only like, speaking while you're still a child kind of thing that we've gone over, right? Like that was in the end of Enoch, right? That was in even what's it called? The alphabet of Ben Sira too.
Yeah.
Yep.
As a child, yeah.
That child was pretty sassy.
Yes.
Oh,
Anyways.
okay. That's interesting. The Kashmir thing is a belief in Ahmadiyya.
What is the
Islam.
Muslim
Okay.
version of Behold? I've been thinking about it, and I think, honestly, the Muslim version of Behold is Truly.
Truly would be good. I could
pops
see
up
that.
so often. You are guaranteed a Truly every episode.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Truly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So we could do Truly. Maybe we'll look.
That's a little awkward. I don't know.
No, I think it works.
Anyways, Lawrence, we're at verse 47. Why don't you take over for
I
the
suppose I can do
next
that.
10 verses?
You know what? It's more comfortable to read from Reynolds because it's more of like a modern
Yeah.
translation. Let's see. 47.
Mhm.
She said, "My Lord, how shall I have a child, seeing that no human has ever touched me?" He said, "So it is that God creates whatever he wishes. When he decides on a matter, he just says to it, be, and it is."
So I think that here we're trying to parallel the story that we just came out of, where Zechariah made a prayer to have a child. And this this response was made in the same way. Here, instead of saying, "Oh, my wife is old or barren," Mary says, "Well, no one's ever touched me."
Sure, yeah.
And the response is still, God can do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. At least with the Quran for this one, there's no beating around the bush where you have to wonder theologically about something. It just
Right.
says God can do whatever the hell he wants.
Right.
So at least there's that. Yeah, in the Bible, sometimes you gotta go around the point to keep like another part of the theology or something.
Here, though, it is somewhat in line with previous traditions, right? Because it says he only says to it, "Be," and it is, which implies a speaking role with
Like Genesis.
Yeah, like Genesis, like Enoch, in the various Enochs, where he literally speaks things into existence.
Every single time he says a word, like an angel is born or something.
Mhm.
Gasp.
Which is a lot of angels.
Just all the
Yeah.
time.
Seriously though, considering how many stars there are, maybe God could try shutting the hell up.
Please calm down.
All right. Continuing. He will teach him Yeah, he will teach him the book and wisdom, the Torah and the. So they use the word evangel, but that would be the gospel, right?
Yes. And regarding the Quranic understanding of the Torah and gospel, the book of wisdom appears together in many verses of the Quran, describing what was given to various prophets. They're also used in connection with Jesus and with the children of Israel. That Jesus was taught the book and the Torah and the gospel raises the questions about what the book refers to. Some solve this by saying that the book must have been the ability to write. However, in Arabic, the conjunction and, which is wa, simply designated by a comma here after book, can, in certain cases, denote two nouns in apposition. Whosoever is an enemy of God, his angels and his messengers, and Gabriel and Michael. Where Gabriel and Michael, who are archangels, are mentioned alongside the other angels. That is, in this verse, the book and the Torah would not necessarily refer to different things.
Yeah, it is really interesting, right? Because like you could also say, so if you do have that kind of poetic parallelism, then it would be like the book being the law and the wisdom being the gospel. But the gospel would refer to, at least to Muslims, from my understanding, it would be more than just the text, right? It would be just the teachings in whatever form they came in. Mm-hmm. So like in one set, for the Jews, it was the law, it was the Torah. That was the way that the message came, right? That's the way that the message came. And then for the gospel, it would be the same thing, but for Christians. And then you could see, because gospel, at least, where, for us, right? And the word evangelist, like evangelism.
Yes.
So it comes from euangelion, which means like it means like good news, but it means like a good message is what that means. Mm-hmm. So like you could go with that as well as in understanding. So I could totally see this as being, the thing is, we talked about it before, right? Like what parts of the Bible does Muhammad confirm? Mm-hmm. And some of these commentaries even note how difficult that is to surmise too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I could totally see this being as like the kind of parallelism. We don't get much of that in the Quran. At least in this way. This seems more like a biblical kind of creed, like poetic creed, than it does a Quranic one.
Also, listen to this, the thematic commentary.
Okay.
Mary was a virgin throughout her pregnancy, having miraculously conceived Jesus.
Of course.
When some people began saying that Jesus was the Son of God, it was clear that a groundless myth, a fallacy, was being created, pointing toward the existence of a special and intimate relationship between God and Mary, the outcome of which was Jesus. This outrageous notion reflects a deep-seated ignorance of the nature and status of God and the exaltation and glorification that humans owe him. Surely, God could not be conceived of as an agent of reproduction in such a crude and salacious manner. For as God says in the Quran, were God to have offspring, he would have chosen the best of his creatures at will. Glorified is God, the one, the Almighty. It's true that Jesus' conception and birth were abnormal and extraordinary events. Such was the will and wisdom of God in order to show humankind that God is not bound by the natural laws of causality.
Of course.
Rather, he overrides and controls these laws. The story of Jesus and his mother is related to and following that of Zechariah and his wife, which had also entailed certain miraculous aspects. So that is noted there as a parallel. I've invented an argument that I wanted to run by you.
Oh, okay. Did you just invent it just now?
No, it's been bouncing around in my head for a while. So because this was popping up here, where God is not bound by the natural laws of causality.
Sure.
Okay. You know how precepts are like, well, if you don't believe in God, then you don't believe in anything that has a foundation for logic.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
your
yeah.
arguments are fallacious. Right. Well, if you believe in a God to which the rules of logic do not apply,
Yeah.
then
Then on what are you?
then on what basis is there any consistency in your rules of logic?
Yeah.
So,
Other than he made them,
mm,
and that's it. Like,
well, and that's just
although they will, the ones that I've spoken to, they will tell you, well, like God can only do that which is like logically possible, right?
But wouldn't
So, which means he is
well,
also
wouldn't that mean that God is limited?
yes,
Mm.
yes, it would.
And some people wouldn't bite that bullet.
Right? Yeah.
The Muslim position, I think, is that God is not limited.
Right. Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants. They've said that over and over.
True. Yeah. And they do really say it all the time.
But if you hold that position, then you can't like have a consistent view of rationality, right? Because you have to necessarily believe that there are exceptions to the laws of nature, which, okay, if you want to believe that, that's
exceptional.
okay.
So I hear. I gotta make sure I'm on the right page for this. Okay, so on to verse 49.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Verse 49 looks like a bit longer. And he will be an apostle. So Jesus will be an apostle to the children of Israel. And he will declare, I have certainly brought you a sign from your Lord. I will create for you the form of a bird out of clay.
Oh, yeah.
Then I will breathe into it, and it will become a bird by God's leave. I heal the blind and the leper, and I revive the dead by God's leave. I will tell you what you have eaten and what you have stored in your houses. There is indeed a sign in that for you, should you be faithful. So the bird thing, classic. Well, actually, hold on.
That's the word.
That's the word.
So what's the
a shirt that
esoteric
says
meaning of the verse, Lawrence?
What's what?
What's the esoteric meaning of the verse?
Who gives a shit about that?
Okay.
No, the
So there's the creation of life where he breathes into the bird.
yeah, it was. It was
there-
from the infancy gospel of Thomas.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's the healing of the blind and the lepers, which is biblical.
Well, he does that. Yeah.
Informing you about what you eat and what you store in your houses. This seems like some kind of magical divination, or
Yeah,
some kind of omnipotent knowledge kind of thing. So where is that from? Because I don't recall Jesus ever like divining what's in my pocket type stuff.
Oh, hold on. There's something else here too. So yeah, the miracle of Jesus creating a bird or birds from clay and his bringing it to life with his breath is known from the apocryphal. It says child. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Infancy gospel of Thomas.
Yeah.
But he calls it the childhood of the Savior. In the Christian context, the point is to have Jesus. Yeah, he creates a life. But then let's see, plenty of places where Jesus is healing people. The clairvoyant miracles alluded to at the end of the verse. I will tell you what you have eaten and what you have stored in your houses are not attested in earlier gospels and are missing from the parallel verse in chapter 5 or in Surah 5. But they seem to reflect a Christian perspective, which has the divine Jesus know the unseen.
Okay, it appears earlier in this.
Yeah.
But later on, it does not appear when they have a mirrored verse, which implies that either it was removed in one case
Or it was added in the other.
It was added in the other. So why might it be added? It might be added because some story of Jesus was floating around that Muhammad wanted to respond to.
Sure.
And instead of just going with his stock verse, he delivered the stock verse plus a couple words.
Maybe I don't know.
It could be just about anything, you know.
Even a boat. You know what you wanted one of those.
Wait, hold on. Am I? Is this translation different? Hold on. I am looking at this again because I don't want to mess it up. Oh, okay. Revive. No, never mind. Okay. Yeah, it's the same. Unfortunately, there's not really a note on this one aside from like, at least on this last part of that verse. Aside from, it just says Jesus' preaching laid special stress upon not having any care, quote, for the morrow. And his advice to rich men when they came to him was to sell all that they had. There's really not much. And then it talks about the treasures in heaven and stuff like that. So it's like it takes it in a very different context. So I'm going to continue on then?
Yes.
With verse 50. I come to confirm the truth of that which is before me of the Torah, and to make lawful for you some of the things that were forbidden you.
Okay, so
hold on,
here
I'm just
we
gonna finish.
already have... Yeah, finish the verse.
Yeah, I have brought you a sign from your Lord, so be wary of God and obey me. So this sign would be like he is doing something, or he has done something that shows you that God is like with him or something. And then he is saying like, here, now you can do a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't. Now we had that in, was it in Acts or was in one of the Gospels where I think it would be in Acts, right? Because it was to Paul. Right, where he presents him with, or he's presented with a bunch of food, a bunch of food that he can't eat, but then he's like, oh, I can't eat it. But then God's like, no, go ahead. I always forget. Was that in Luke or was that Acts or was that?
I can't recall exactly what it was in, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So this is like the same kind of thing.
The thing is that within, the Torah very clearly states that anyone who adds to or removes it from it is to be put to death.
And then even the very end in Revelation, they also say a very similar thing about like, hey, it's bad if someone adds or takes away from this.
And so it's very strange that he would do that. He's saying that he brings signs and wonders, right? A sign from your Lord. But the Jesus of the canonical Gospels outright says that doesn't mean anything because you can have false prophets who do that.
Sure.
Strange. It is a different Jesus. It's a miracle worker Jesus, of course.
Sure, yeah.
But it's not the same.
All right, I'll continue on then. I think this actually works for... What does your translation say truly there?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm just going to say... okay, so... Because we have a difference here, right? Because, like, I have surely.
Surely.
I think surely might be funnier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think surely might be funnier.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go Shirley. Shirley!
Surely.
You like saying Shirley, Chris?
It's a name.
I'll say truly when it's in mine.
Okay, fine. So we're gonna do. Now we have two. Right now we have different traditions. We have a
there's a Sunni
Shirley,
and there's a Shiite
Shirley. That's pretty good. So surely Allah is my Lord and your Lord. So serve him. This is the right path.
Okay.
Yeah, God is indeed my Lord. Yeah. So like so for some of this stuff, maybe I shouldn't be using Reynolds because he does not have the Shirleys or the Trulies.
He's got diddly.
He's got diddlies.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of diddlies. I'm going to continue on, though. So, verse 52. When Jesus sensed their faithlessness, he said, who will be my helpers on the path toward God?
The faithlessness is understood to mean actual hostility beyond simple rejection. And commentators contextualize this verse in relation to Jesus as being in exile or fleeing from those wishing to kill him.
Okay. The disciples said, "We will be helpers of God. We have faith in God, and you be witness that we have submitted to him."
So where it says disciples for you, mine says apostles, but
Okay.
the term is
Well, wasn't that just used for Jesus too?
hawarion. It's a word that may be derived from the Ethiopic hawaria.
Oh yeah, I see it.
It's
It's a hold on. So the Arabic word hawarion is plural of hawari, which is thus explained by one of the ancient, I don't know if this is an ancient commentator who the hell or what the hell this text is, but it's explained one who whitens clothes by washing and beating them. Hence its plural hawariyun is applied to the companions of Jesus because their trade was to do washing. I guess in a way. Some commentators, however, suggest that they may have been called so because of the purity of their hearts. Okay, I'm going to check the index in this thing for just a second. If you have any commentary to add on top of that. I don't know if you did. I wanted to check. You know, fine, I'll check it after the
I
show.
don't have any more commentary.
Fine, I'll
I read
continue.
you my commentary.
All right, fine. I see how it is.
I don't.
Well, too bad.
No.
Now they're saying they're Muslims, though. Right?
Oh,
We
sure,
are
yeah.
submitters. I guess that's the relevant commentary. So that Muslims today can be like, oh no, those
Yeah,
guys
they
were
were
all
totally
Muslims
Muslim,
back in the day.
Yeah, so verse 53, "Our Lord, we believe in what you have sent down, and we follow the apostle. So write us among the witnesses." So would this be like the book of life type of thing?
Yeah, something like the Book of Life. The idea of a witness reflects an important theme in the Quran regarding testifying and bearing witness, which is carried out by human beings, angels, and God. The Muslim community is commanded to say, bear witness that we are submitters if others turn away from them. Witness, shahid, can have the dual sense of someone who knows as well as someone who upholds and confirms.
Okay. Continuing on, I think with verse 53. Oh, no, that was verse 53. With verse 54. "Then they plotted against Jesus, and God also devised, and God is the best of devisers."
Nobody has better plots than I do. I'm the best plotter.
I have the best plots.
Just ask my followers and worshipers.
That's amazing. Allah is the best of planners. So interesting one. The Jews planned and Allah also planned. So this whole thing about planning, Makkah is explained by, it just says R. That's probably notation for something, but I'm not sure what it is.
Like it can be plotting, scheming. Some understand God scheming to refer to his taking and raising Jesus unto himself.
Oh, I see. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. Well, there are a few interpretations for this. Well, I guess no, we're actually going to see it later. Makkah is explained by R as the turning of another with ingenuity or skill from that which he aims at, and he considers Makkah as of two sorts, a good one and an evil one. Therefore, the best interpretation of the word makara, including both sorts, is that adopted by T. He exercised craft, cunning, art, or skill in the management or ordering of affairs with excellent consideration or deliberation and ability to manage according to his own free will. The idea of the plan being contrived for an evil purpose or clandestinely, which is included in the significance of the word, has led many to take the idea as its exclusive significance, which is not the case. Makara Elahu may also signify that Allah recompensed or requited them for their makr. According to some, its original significance is the gathering of an affair and its strengthening. All these explanations show that it is the equivalent of the word plan, the good or evil nature of the plan being dependent on the object or doer's intention. Allah is called here Khair al-Makirin, or the best of planners. The qualifying word Khair being inapplicable to an evil object. Okay, I see. And then the next section here, the Jews planned to put Jesus to death by crucifixion, and Allah made a plan to frustrate their plans. And Allah's plan was successful, yeah. So we'll get into that.
Okay.
But so the idea is not that they are both plotting against Jesus. The idea is that they plot against Jesus, and then he plots against them, and he's a way better plotter.
Oh.
Yeah.
That explains everything.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
This is literally what it says.
Well, I mean, yeah, but when it says that the unbelievers plotted and planned, and God did it too, that could also be interpreted. My first reading of that was like, wait, so they're both plotting against Jesus? That was my first interpretation.
Mine says they plotted, God plotted, and God's the best of plotters.
Well, no, I know. Mine also
Which
says
is so much better than they plotted.
and he plotted, and they plotted, and you plotted. I'm going to continue on, though.
Please. Why don't you?
When God said, right, so this is 55, yeah.
Yes.
When God said, "Oh, Jesus, I shall..." Actually, hold on. No, I have a better idea. I'm going to read out of this one. Here's why. Behold!
Behold!
God said, "Oh, Jesus, I will take thee and raise thee to myself, and clear thee of the falsehoods of those who blaspheme. I will make those who follow thee superior to those who reject faith to the day of resurrection. Then shall ye all return unto me, and I will judge between you of the matters wherein ye dispute." So this is the whole idea of Jesus never having been crucified, where he will raise him up towards him. So in the same,
almost like Elijah or Enoch.
yes, exactly like those guys.
Right, but I want to point out, usually means that God takes one unto himself, that is, in death. The context of the verse most assert, however, that it does not refer to being taken in death, but rather being taken from the world, although others believe that this does refer to God causing Jesus to die. Others say it refers to sleep, as in other verses such as Surah 6, verse 60, "He it is who takes your souls by night," and 39:42, "God takes souls at the moments of their death, and those who die not during their sleep." So
And there seem to be a few interpretations, right?
there's later on a discussion in the commentary about the crucifixion, but it's not in this surah.
Sure. So one of the things here I want to point out. So yeah, according to the standard Islamic teaching, Jesus did not die, but was taken up to heaven, body and soul. Thus, Tafsir al-Jalain paraphrases this passage, quote, "O Jesus, I am gathering you, seizing you, and raising you to me away from the world without death." Not all translators agree with this idea. Assad translates, quote, "shall cause thee to die," which is very interesting.
Right, and I pointed that out before, that some say that. I wanted to point something out here, that many commentators also mention the belief that Jesus will return before the end times and fight the Dajjal, the Antichrist,
Oh, okay, sure.
and rule according to the law of Muhammad until the world comes to an end, which reminds me very much of Elijah and Enoch descending from their place. These are, of course, the characters who ascended, who were taken. If Jesus is among them, and if that story and that theme was transferred to Jesus over the course of time within the community that was around Mecca and Medina, maybe. But I don't know.
It is interesting that there are so many interpretations of this, though.
Yes.
Because, like, a lot of the time I just hear the one story of, like, oh, well, he was just taken away. He wasn't actually crucified. I actually did ask about this because I pointed out, like, hey, we have a lot of evidence that Jesus was actually, like, the evidence for Jesus' crucifixion is mostly about how early the cross imagery is. Like, it appears everywhere in early Christian literature, and it's very, very strongly about the cross. And it's very early, too. And because of that, we can kind of go like, okay, well, maybe he was crucified, which happened commonly. Now, it wouldn't have been like they would not have given the power over to the Sanhedrin to do that. That's insane to think that they gave over that power to someone. No, like the Romans can just fucking do it. They're not going to give that power to like some small community. In
fact, the Sanhedrin hadn't had the ability to implement the death penalty in a very long time.
Right, yeah. So a lot of issues with that one, but the like him being crucified, they take that, and so I asked my Muslim friends about it, and they're like, "Well, we actually think there was like a body double." So,
okay,
yeah, you know, I'm not gonna say more on that now, but that was a thing that they said.
A body double.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how exactly. Yes, that's right. A body double. Also, hello, Maya. Everyone subscribe to Maya. A body double for Jesus. So everyone thought that he was crucified, but he wasn't actually crucified. He was taken up to heaven.
What a wonderful idea. Why don't you fill us with more wonderful ideas from the Quran?
Will do. Where the hell was I? I just finished verse 55, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So 56. As for the faithless, I will punish them with a severe punishment in the world and the hereafter, and they will have no helpers. But as for those who have faith and do righteous deeds, he will pay them in full their rewards, and God does not like the wrongdoers. This has already happened. It's already popped up multiple times.
But that is the end of the readings for today.
It is, yeah.
Lawrence, what did you think of the story of Jesus and Mary? And
I liked the inclusion of the infancy gospel of James. But it does also explain a lot why it's so confusing talking about some characters. Some biblical characters.
And the infancy gospel of Thomas.
Right, that too. It does get very weird talking to Muslims about this stuff because, like, now I kind of more understand it. But, you know, before I was like, wait, which characters are we talking about? Like,
right,
are we talking about the Old
no
Testament ones? Or
here.
Yeah, like the fact that there's not a recognition of more than...
But now, what time do you think they believe Jesus lived in? Because if they do genuinely... confused in their tradition Mary and Miriam, there's such a discrepancy in the time frame that it doesn't make sense, right? So I don't know how they would respond to that, unless they think that there's some young earth shit going on.
Sure, yeah.
Anyways,
not entirely sure either, but either way, hope you enjoyed the show today.
Next week,
happy Halloween.
It's gonna be what, the 5th, the 6th, the 4th?
It would be the 6th, right?
Okay.
Oh wait, that's right. That's the day after the fucking election.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So, you know, next week...
we may or may not have a civil war.
We may or may not have a civil war. We may or may not know that on January 5th we're entering into a theocracy.
Right. So I guess
Who
we'll see
knows?
where that goes. But it is well, let's hope for the best. That's
Sort of the birthday stream if we live through it too.
All right. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. And if you guys live through it, you should buy this pinned T-shirt.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
And you should subscribe and check
word
out
is
our
bird.
Amazon wish list and go on Patreon to give us money and become members on YouTube to
And
give us money.
I like the way you said before.
Hunt down Lawrence and hand him cash.
Thank you. That'd be very kind. Also, I liked what you said many moons ago about setting up an altar in your closet for us. Yeah, and making very frequent sacrifices. I think that's a great idea. You should
Remember,
do that.
you're only supposed to burn the fat.
Right. Yeah.
I can't believe I got that message from that dude. He was like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to sacrifice a goat to Yahweh." I posted it in the server.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Isn't
Anyways,
it? Yeah. Thanks for joining us. And that's all the shilling. And we will see you on Wednesday. We're going to see who's the president, maybe.
goodbye.
We're going to die.